we're live. Yes, live from Jay's place. And we're talking
Barbershop Talk.
Yes, barbershop talk, where nothing is off limits and everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table.
Barbershop Talk.
Come on, everybody. We're here at Jay's place.
Barbershop.
We're talking barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. Where nothing's off limits.
Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. Everything's on the table.
Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. Everything's on the table.
Barbershop Talk Live. We are live here at Jay's Place Barbershop, 1927 Olive Road. Listen, another special edition, another special day. We're going to have a good conversation with our special guest in the hot seat today. None other than Douglas Jackson, ACC Restoration. But listen, I want to say thank you for tuning in to another edition of Barbershop Talk Live. Listen, as I always do, call your friend, call your enemies, call your neighbors, call your church members to tell them to tune in. Barbershop Talk Live with another special edition. If you want to give us a call and get into our conversation, call us at 706-426-1533. That's 706-426-1533. You don't want to give a call, put your comment or your question on the screen where I see any and all comments. No question, no comments is off limits. Barbershop Talk Live is always live. We are here for you. Listen, throughout the show, we're going to have a good conversation. We want you to pay attention to the conversation because we have a chance for you to win some prizes. At the end of the show, we're going to ask some questions to our guests, ask some questions to you, and you give a chance to win some prizes. So thank you for tuning in to Barbershop Talk Live. Before we go into a conversation, we want to give a special shout out to our supporters, our providers behind the scene, with my good friend Demetrius Johnson, Beverly's Body Butter. Right here in Augusta, Georgia, she has whipped Senate Shea Butter. She has Tropical Punch, Mango, Peach, Island Paradise, Strawberry. Call her, 706-564-5335. Again, that's 706-564-5335. Whip, Senate Shea Butter, Beverly's Body Butter, Demetrius Johnson. You got TikTok? She has a TikTok. Hit up on TikTok, which is Melon Queen 1976. Again, that's my good friend Demetrius Johnson, right here in Augusta, Georgia, very own. Also, you got a problem with some lawn, some tree removal, some yard maintaining, some demolition, or you just want to maintain your pond, call my good friend Alan Odom. Alan Odom with Pond Maintenance also right here in Augusta, Georgia. A good friend of mine, been knowing him for many, many, many years. You give him a call at 706-294-8493. That's 706-294-8493. That's my good friend Alan Odom. Again, he's right here in Augusta, Georgia, homegrown also. Got a lot of different things he can do for your neighborhood, for your business, for your community, and a lot more. So again, my good friend Alan Odom is specialized in tree removal, demolition, pond maintenance, and also just cut your grass. Again, call him up, 706-294-8493. And again, that's 706-294-8493. Pond maintenance, Alan Odom. Tell him John from Barbershop Talk Live said, I'm coming to get the deal. He'll give you a great deal, great price, and great service. Again, so also seriously, I want to give another special shout out to you, and especially you. For the past couple of weeks, we had on a big old, I'm talking about a party. The biggest outdoor party Augusta, Georgia has ever seen. We talking about the old school 70s party, and Janet Community Resource and Magnificent Seven put this party together. So I want to continue to thank you, and especially you for your support, for your donations, for your sponsorship, for all your prayers, and also your handshakes, just pat on the backs. Whatever you did to support the 70s party, thank you, and especially you. Your donations, your support goes a long way. We're looking forward to making it big and better next year. So stay tuned for the old school 70s party coming back real soon. Listen, don't forget about June the 13th, June the 14th. What am I talking about? I'm talking about boots on the ground. Where them fans at? You got your fan? Put them boots on the ground. Oh man, it's gonna be crazy. Coming up June 13th, June the 14th, right across the bridge. I'm telling you about, we got some things going on. We got some party. We're going to have a good old funky good time. My good friend DJ J Will providing the sound. You can give him a call. You need some DJ service. 803-215-3838. Again, that's 803-215-3838. 803 Fresh. So many different artists going to be on this thing. I'm talking about it's going to be crazy. So if you know how the 70s party went, it's going to be even crazy. So again, that's June 13th, June 14th, Bogus Hill Landing, right across the bridge. So again, call my good friend DJ Will. Also, there's flyers on the screen. You can pay attention to the flyer. Call him again. That's 803-215-3838. Crazy. June 13th, June 14th. Circle it. We're looking forward to seeing you and especially you. The price is right. The weather's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Vendors all out there. You want to be a vendor? Also, call DJ Will to be able to get you a vendor spot. I'm telling you, please, man, please, sir, as they say in church, govern yourself accordingly. You've been warned, you've been told about, so make sure you get yourself in the place to have a good time. Barbershop Talk is live each and every Wednesday. We bring you the information, bring you aware of what's going on in the CSOA. We'll have a good conversation with our guests in the hot seat. So listen, without further ado, I want to present to some and present to others. A good friend, it took a while to get this guy to come in the hot seat because he's so busy with the hurricane season we just had going on, with everything going on in the CSOA, so he's extremely busy. But not for further ado, we got him here in the hot seat on Barbershop Talk Live. So listen, get your tape recorder ready, get your questions jotted down. I want you to get into this conversation. Call us at 706-426-1533. That's 706-426-1533. Who you calling? You calling Jay's Place Barbershop, 1927 Ollie Road. Barbershop Talk Live. You want to speak to my good friend, Mr. Douglas Jackson. What's up, man?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man. You good?
I'm good. I'm good. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here.
Man,
honor to be here.
It's hard to have you next to me. I'm glad to see you.
Well, we are busy, but this is a wonderful establishment that you have. You all put a lot of time into this, and I'm glad to be here. I watched some of your show.
Okay.
It's very educational, very, very informative, and I want to see you all continue to grow.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. Listen, coming from you, that's good news. That's good news. Man, it's good to see you, though.
Good to see you, sir.
Looking
Good to see you.
And listen, I don't know if they can tell because sometimes they say the camera put on 10 pounds, but you're slimming down.
Oh, yeah. Trying to eat a little healthier. Trying to eat a little healthier.
The camera put on 10 pounds, but you slim and trim now. I'm checking you out.
I appreciate that, sir.
Man,
Thank you
listen,
very
Barbershop Talk Live world again. My good friend Douglas Jackson here in Augusta, Georgia. Barbershop Talk Live hot seat. You want to get to this conversation we're going to have with him, call us at 706-426-1533. Again, that's 706-426-1533. You don't want to call us, put your comment or put your question on the screen. We'll make sure we answer any and all comments. No question, no comments is off limits. Barbershop Talk Live is always live.
All right.
Man,
Okay.
listen, again, we're glad to have you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Man,
Thank
keep
you.
on doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
Now, if you had a chance to watch Barbershop Talk Live, the way we do this thing is we just have a good old conversation with everybody. I call it the hot seat, but we just have fun. Just, talking about whatever we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And I always do my due diligence when I have a guest come on.
Okay.
I never come on empty-handed.
Okay.
And I expect the guest not to come on empty-handed.
Okay.
So by that being said, I do my little research, I do my little Googling, I do my little, put my ear to the street, ask some questions to the folks in the neighborhood, and they say, well, talk to them, see what's going on. And I do that.
Okay.
And the good part about that, I already know who you are. Been following you for many, many years, checking up on you and all that good stuff. But there are some people behind that camera that don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to give a few minutes, look at that camera, and tell the people, the Barbershop Talk Live world, who is Douglas Jackson?
Well, I'm Douglas Jackson. I am from Augusta, Georgia, born and raised. I'm a graduate of Lucy C. Laney High School. Left Laney and went on to Albany State University, got my degree in education. And from there, I went on to teach school for 5 years. And after that, became assistant principal for 23 years. And then I left education to run my business full time, ACC Restoration.
Okay, all right. You put it all in a quick ball right there real quick. But now let me go back. You said something, I did some Googling on.
Okay.
I did some Googling on the Wildcats. Now, you mentioned Laney Wildcats.
I did.
Now, while you was at Laney Wildcats and over there on Laney Walker, but you football, basketball, anything like that? Because I didn't see that part on the Googling search.
Well, I didn't make it past JV, so I played basketball. That Google did not lie. I played all the way from 9th grade, 10th grade, and then after that I went on to I was really active in ROTC. Okay. And so my time was in ROTC. I actually went to Georgia Boys State and competed against 500 guys my senior year, and I ended up lieutenant governor of Georgia Boys State. So that was a prestigious thing that a lot of presidents and stuff go to. And so so that's why my time went into ROTC. And I got into college, and ROTC just wasn't for me because you had to get up. You had to actually get up 5 o'clock in the morning and run. And so I realized ROTC wasn't for me when there was a girl beside me doing 50 push-ups, and I was still on Number 5. So that wasn't for me. After running 2 miles, I was like, nah, this is not for me. No. So I did it about 2 weeks and realized ROTC wasn't for me. I wasn't going into the military.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So it was good for a little while.
It was. It definitely groomed me to where I am right now. Being in ROTC those years in high school definitely gave me a lot of leadership skills.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny you say it because I kind of wished I went into the military.
Yeah.
I had a little chance to do it, and as you said, it just wasn't for me.
It wasn't.
And I see some people they make a career out of it. They enjoy it. Kids and get on to follow the parents doing it.
Oh, I would have. I mean, if you look at the fact you can retire at 38 years old, you're going to 18 years old. It makes a lot of sense because you start another career.
Right.
So that's it, but it just wasn't for me.
Still young, benefits and all that.
Absolutely. And whole check coming in from retirement. So Army is a good place for anyone, regardless of wealth. For a poverty-stricken young man or woman, for middle class, it is a good opportunity. And a lot of people fear, getting killed, but you can get killed just going to a grocery store. You get killed. So it's a wonderful opportunity for those who know how to use the Army and not let the Army use you. Okay. And let me just say the armed forces because we have different services. But it's a great opportunity for those to use it, not let it use you.
Right. Mm-hmm. I can co-sign that because again, anything can happen no matter where you're at.
Absolutely.
You got to be in the military.
Yeah.
You're walking down the street like you said.
Right. Yeah. So it's definitely a good field to do. I just didn't pursue it. Yeah. Okay. So you're right. Your Google was right.
Yeah, Google. Okay. Google got me some good stuff out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to make sure that the people get a chance to follow this conversation because we're gonna jump around and talk about your whole life journey from where you are and where you've been and what you got going on and the future plans. Because I know how your mind works. You got some stuff up your sleeve that we're gonna find out about tonight. Barbershop Talk Live again. Get into this conversation with our special guest, Mr. Douglas Jackson, ACC Restoration. Call us at 706. 426-1533. Again, that's 706-426-1533. Or put the question or comment on the screen. We'll answer any and all comments, all questions. Give us some hearts, give us some likes, and give us some stars. We're glad to be in your home. We're glad to be you looking at us and watching us what we got to talk about tonight. Mr. Jackson, I also want to go back to the early later days. Mm-hmm. They say, I got some guys come in and they always say about West Side. And they say West Side is the best side. That's what they say now. So now what you say about the Wildcats, what is it about Laney Wildcats, the Lucy Laney world that really makes set them apart from everybody else?
Tradition. So I was raised by my grandparents. Okay. And so my mom, I call her mom because she raised me. She went to what was called Haynes Institute. Okay. And she walked there in 1948. From South Carolina. She walked 4 miles every day to get an education at Laney because there was no schools for blacks in South Carolina unless they were in Aiken. So she lived in what was called Clearwater at that time. Okay. And so she walked over here every day. And so she ended up being a teacher. And when I got of age, we were living in Carolina, but when I got of age, she wanted me to go to Laney so bad, she purchased a house over there. Okay. And I just didn't understand, what is this about Laney that she was so entrenched with until I actually walked in there and understood the culture. And when you have a culture like Laney, it's almost like being somewhere where all of those in our same community understand and uplift each other. With ACC Restoration, a lot of my Laney alumni support my business, and I give back to my school, as often as I can. So that tradition, not knocking West Side or any other side, but there's no tradition like Laney. My son went to Laney, graduated in 2020. He's right now electronic engineer, has a degree in electronic engineering. He came back when he graduated. He called me February last year. He graduated in May. He said, "Dad, I want to come back and work for your company." Now he could have went into electronic engineering, but he went on and came and started working for his father. And I want to say a lot of that has a lot to do with tradition we have at Laney. I never want to see that tradition go.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So the tradition is what makes
hands
Laney
down,
what it is.
Hands down.
Okay.
There's no other place. It's no other place where you're gonna receive that amount of love. The teachers come in, the administrators come in. They may have not even had a Laney, but they understand and love the element of the school.
It's so funny you said because
Waycross.
Big little town called Waycross, Georgia. So when we take a commercial break, I'm gonna give you a check for saying that because they ain't supposed to really do that. But and I understand what you're saying because my hometown is the same way. You know, we the Waycross Bulldogs, and when the Bulldogs come to town, you know it's a tradition like no other.
Right.
They follow the school football team, the baseball, they follow it. So even when I go back home, you know, you see the Waycross Bulldogs T-shirts walking around the city. So I understand the tradition, I understand the togetherness of what's going on down there, and it's like I said, it's like no other.
Yeah.
It's like no other. And when the other folks, the other schools come to town, they got to get ready for that tradition.
Yeah, I had an opportunity, like I said, my last school I was assistant principal at was Laney. I graduated from Laney in '94, and from 2015 to 2022, I was assistant principal at Laney. And just when walking through the doors, it was just emotional because you are at a place where you once were a student, and now you're assistant principal at. And for me, I never really wanted to leave education because I knew I was making an impact on those young minds. So I will say, you know, though that was something that kept me entrenched. It didn't matter how my business was doing on the outside. I knew I was making a difference to those young men and young ladies inside of that school.
Okay. And you know, another thing I'm thinking about when you say that, because when you're talking about the young men that you're teaching, you're growing up with them, you're raising them, you know, it's a difference. Because now, as you see, there ain't too many teachers, you know, male teachers in the classrooms in the principal role. So just to have that type of atmosphere around there, it does do something to you.
Absolutely.
And you see that you're making an impact.
Absolutely.
And they can cling to what you're saying and see you as set an example of what's going on with them, and get them something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, so I understand the tradition.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, can I throw another school out there? You're talking about Albany State.
Okay.
Now, what is it about Albany State compared to the other schools? Because again, you went from the Laney, now you at Albany. What's it about Albany that makes Albany who it is in your mind?
I love HBCUs.
Okay.
And so it was an opportunity for me to go somewhere that was close to actually where my grandfather family grew up at, and it was like 7 of us from Laney that went down there.
Okay.
At that time, when I first went there, they had my degree that I was going to go into. I was going to go into political science, but then I understood political science. There was no job waiting for me when I finished with that, and so probably like the first week I got down there, I said, you know what, I really like students, I like kids, and so I went into education. Albany State taught me a lot. Okay. You know, it was a sad situation to me, and on the line of business, I would talk about marketing. And in marketing, I grew up watching, if y'all remember on ABC during Easter time, they would show Moses. Okay. And I'm watching Moses growing up, and I was 19 years old before I learned something at Albany State. And I was sitting in Dr. Cherry's class and at Albany State, and she talked to me about Moses and said Moses' wife was Ethiopian. Okay, so I grew up looking at Africa with flies on them. I grew up looking at Africa with flies on the kids, and so when I'm hearing Dr. Cherry saying that the Hebrew version of the Bible is different from the New Testament of the Bible, and she talked about how Moses' wife was Ethiopian, and in the Hebrew version of the Bible, it said, and in the King James version of the Bible, it speaks on Moses' wife being black but beautiful. And then in the Hebrew version of the Bible, it says that Moses' wife was black and beautiful. So you see the difference. I would have never learned. Here it is, I'm 19, 20 years old, and she's showing us pictures, because there was no internet at that time, of Africa. And I'm like, nah, this ain't what I saw on TV where they asking for money.
Right. Feed a kid. Yeah, feed a kid.
This is not what I'm saying. And so I would have never gotten that in my mind from outside of being at HBCU and someone giving us that knowledge. And so it gave me a greater appreciation for who I was, and it gave me a greater appreciation for the continent that my forefathers came from. That marketing-wise taught me otherwise. Marketing-wise, as a child, I'm thinking like, oh, Africa, I don't ever want to go there. The lion's going to get me. That's not Africa. And you learn that I learned that from an HBCU.
And you know, I kind of co-sign what you're saying, because I came to Augusta to go to Payne College in HBCU.
Right.
And so when I went on the campus and teachers started talking to you and teaching you, you know, different things about history and English and all that, as you can see the whole different world from the perspective that they bring it to you. So I'm like, oh, this ain't what I thought it was.
It's not.
This ain't what I heard it was.
But it's what you were marketed. They fed you that.
Right.
And so because you were fed that, you was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to. Yeah, I got to be grateful that I'm here.
Right. You enjoy it.
Yeah.
You really embrace that whole world.
You do.
You know, now, again, I'm at HBCU, and for the people that's watching Barbershop Talk Live, I had fun.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you talk about the college life, it's a different life. You know, you have fun, but it's a serious world.
It is.
You know, so I will say that when I was at Payne College, it taught me the real world.
And I wasn't going to go to HBCU. I'm going to be honest with you. I had I was actually a church member, and church member had went to a PWI, and the church member said, hey, you don't want to go to a HBCU because when you go there, you're only going to be around blacks.
Right.
And I was like, well, and she said, you're already at a black school, Laney.
Right.
And so, you know, you're not going to learn anything different by being there. And so I was like, okay. And so I actually was, you know, like, well, let me go to look at other schools besides going to a HBCU, because what she said made sense. You know, my young mind.
Right.
So I ended up going. My mom was like, you need to go. When I got there, I realized the guy across the hall from me was Haitian. Mm-hmm. We're not the same. The guy down the street was Jamaican. Mm-hmm. Upstairs, there was Nigerians.
Right.
So they were my color, but a whole different culture. The guy from Detroit, I'm listening to booty shake music, and he not listening to that.
Right.
So no matter where you go, even at HBCU, you're going to have people coming from different.
It's a whole different world. So I definitely understand what you're saying, because you never know till you get in there.
Right.
You never know till you get in there. So people of Barbershop Talk Live World, again, my good friend Douglas Jackson here in the hot seat. We got a chance to get in contact with him, know who he is, and we're going to get a chance to get more of him, because now we want to get into your family life.
Okay.
So Barbershop Talk Live World, these are questions that are coming from the guests that I get from the community. They want to ask these questions. Now, again, how long have you been married?
25 years.
25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now here you go. See, I already do that. Here's my Googling search. I do that, but the people of Barbershop Talk Live World, they didn't do that. So you got to tell the people that's watching, what does 25 years take to get to 25 years? What does it take to make 25 years of marriage?
To be
now before you answer that question, don't tell me. You got to tell the people of Barbershop Talk Live. They got to. The people want to know.
Oh yeah. It takes work. It takes work. It takes work to have anything that you desire. I think marriage is like a business. Okay. In essence, what it took you to get them, you have to maintain that. Okay. You have to work towards it every day. If they are unhappy, you need to find out why. If you're unhappy, they should be trying to find out why. Okay. Because both of you have to work together in order to make each other happy. Okay. And you're not always there's not always gonna be good times. There's gonna be times that you're gonna be tried and tested. Okay. Just like in anything. You're gonna be tried, you're gonna be tested, but the main thing is to try to persevere.
25 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
Oh, very much.
That's a long time, because as a matter of fact, I'm co-signing what you're saying, because this coming June be 29 for me.
Oh, wow, yeah. 29,
and there's been some good days, been some bad days. That comes with the territory.
It does.
And when you say try to find out what the person is upset about, and vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember old guy at church say, don't go to bed mad at each other. That's one way to keep the marriage going. If you got a problem, you talk it out before y'all lay down. When you wake up, the problem should be gone.
That's almost realistic, but it's not.
It's not. But I try to, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, but at least get it out in the air. Right. See what's going on, why she got her mouth all poked out, and why you got a frown on your face. See what's going on, because again, 25 years, 29 years, it takes a while to get to that point.
And you have to understand your purpose. You know, one of the things that, for me, being married is a lot of it came from what my mother and my father instilled in me in what a marriage is and what you look for in a woman. Okay. One of the things for me, I love my wife to death, but I believe in DNA. I wasn't good in math, so I looked for that woman that was good in math, because I knew I wasn't gonna sit home and do homework. Right. I just wasn't finna sit down. And my son, I mean, he knows knows math like he can just add numbers up just in his head. Right. And so I looked at those things. Now I love them, hands down. Right. But I look for those things. You just can't say, "Ooh, they look good," and you have a child by them, because now you put yourself in a situation to where you went for looks. Right. And not necessarily somebody you can build with.
Substance, right.
You know, you can't look for that. You know, I was a member. You know, going back to my college life, I was in a fraternity, and I was dating a girl, and she was like always asking me, wait, let me look through your phone. You had call ID at that time. Let me look. Hey, let me look through your call ID. And you have to ask yourself, you look at me now as a business owner, I don't have time for that.
Right.
And so you can't have a jealous person. You got to have somebody that's going to allow you to build. Right. And that's one thing I can say, you know, my wife, I can build.
Right.
She's not looking through my phone. She's not coming in my office saying, she's allowing me to build. And that's what it takes in order to find somebody. And I'll tell anybody this, if you want to be a business owner, you can't do it with a jealous person.
No,
you cannot do it. You know, and so what I'm saying to you is, to finish up the story that I learned at 20 years old, I was a member of my fraternity, and I said, oh, I'm supposed to be the president of my line, you know, of my fraternity, because the older guys were getting ready to graduate. They did not vote me to be the president. They voted another guy, and it hurt me because I was the one who was helped bringing in the money.
Okay.
I was the marketing person. I was out there going, and so I was like, why didn't they choose me to be the president? And one older cat pulled me to the side. He said, brother, your girl controls you.
Oh, okay.
So if she's controlling you, she controlling the fraternity if we made you the president.
And they saw that. Right. And they saw that.
And it was deep.
They saw that.
And so I took that into my adulthood. When I got ready to get married, I didn't need anybody. I mean, you look, first of all, I was assistant principal. Who wants to come home to somebody saying,
nagging?
No.
Right.
I want to come. So that was one of the things I pride my marriage with, that, you know, I don't have that. I don't have that. She allows me to grow. She allows me to build. And I think that's essential in any marriage. We as any other marriage, we have our flaws. We have things that we have to work on. Mm-hmm. But business-wise, those I don't have it.
You know, I whatever you're saying is coming to me because we got the same issues, the same, you know, ups and downs. So my wife the same way. I mean, she don't be looking all through the phone.
Yeah.
She don't be doing all that checking up, whatever. Because again, if you got that kind of jealousy, we don't need to be together.
Oh, you cannot build like that.
We can't make it work. We can't flow together. We can't function together. Give me my space. I got your space. Because let me can I switch up for a minute?
Sure.
Church.
Uh-huh.
And this ain't coming from me, this coming from the community because they did some research on you also, and they did research on myself. So when you talking about church, it's so crazy because I remember one time, Douglas, my wife paid the tithes.
Yeah.
She paid tithes in the church, and you know what she did? The check was so big, I said, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
You meant to put all them zeros in that check?
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, you know, if that's what you do.
Yeah.
And it goes back to trusting God, believing in God, because you know what the word says, that she did it, and I came along better in doing that, and so now I'm a tither. Oh. And it's a funny situation because sometimes when people get in these tithe conversations and church conversations, they get kind of shaky, you know. So I don't want to get you on the, but it's just the fact that it comes to my mind as we're talking about it, the tithing, the trusting God, and also when you trust in God, the relationship's better anyway because now we're going in the same direction. Mm-hmm. You know, so I just want to, you maybe think about it when you say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got a real world scenario with that. I you know, we were probably 28, 29 years old, and I was sitting beside my wife, and I grew up, like I said, my grandparents, they gonna put $2 in the church, $3 in the church, $4 in the church. You know, that's them. That's how they did it. So right. I'm following suit, you know. Right. And my wife was a grandfather was a pastor, so she's real, you know, right. She kept that same tradition.
Right, right.
So we were sitting down there, and I'm just like you, sitting beside her, and she wrote this check out, and I'm looking beside her. I said, what is she doing? So I'm like, the pastor might have been preaching a good sermon, but I could not wait till we got out in that parking lot. What is all these bills? We got these kids. And
yeah.
So, you know, and I will never forget that I fussed with her so much about that. And I promise you, no more than 3 weeks later, my air conditioner went out on my truck because during that time I was very frugal, so I wasn't burning my air conditioner. I had a brand new truck, right. Rolling the window down. Right. So my hose I decided to burn the air conditioner one day, and the hose busted. And so had to get it fixed. And the same dollar amount that she put in the church, the same dollar amount was what it cost me for the labor and material for that. And I left her alone. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, this got to be when I'm telling you the same dollar amount, I was like, oh, I'm leaving. I'm not bothering her anymore. Right. And so, you know, she does her tithing and offering. I honestly more of a stewardship person. I am. Okay. You know, I am, but I still give to my church.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I gotta say, she set the example, and I just followed suit with it. Yeah, and I was a dollar man too at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I do a little more than the dollar.
Church can't survive off that.
No, I can't. It can't. Barbershop Talk Live again. We're having a great conversation thus far. We're gonna get into it more with our good friend Douglas Johnson. I'm in Jackson here at Barbershop Talk Live. Our hot seat guest tonight, ACC Restoration. So again, if you got a comment, you got a question, please, ma'am, please, sir, give us a call at 706-426-1533. Again, that's 426-1533. Douglas, before we go to our first commercial break, I want to ask the question that I know a lot of people that's watching on Barbershop Talk Live want to know, and we talking about business. You know, you learn from Lane, as you said earlier, and you took that on down south to Albany State. You learn more about the business world, how to become your own boss, and get into the entrepreneurship world. What would you tell a person that's getting started, maybe about to graduate high school, thinking about which way to go for their career path? If they want to get into a business, what would be one of the first things that you would tell that person to do if they're thinking about being their own boss or getting into some type of business world?
Currently, right now, blacks in Augusta make up 56% of this city.
Okay.
We own 8% of the businesses in Augusta.
Okay.
I would tell anyone that is striving to own a business to look at trade school.
Okay.
I would tell them that if they're going to get a degree, to also look at other avenues and ways to bring in money. We, as far as, and I'm speaking on all businesses, but right now African Americans in Augusta suffering business-wise.
Okay.
We're suffering business-wise. When I say we make up 56% of this city,
Okay.
we only own 8% of the businesses here.
Okay.
That means we're flipping dollars with everybody else, but only 8% of it with ourselves. So I would tell anyone, and I would say our churches have to evolve. I would say our fraternities and sororities have to evolve. Okay. We are very traditional in what we're doing, but it's not working for us.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is the message that we're sending is to go to college.
Okay.
To go to college. But when we go to college, we're not necessarily owning businesses. And I'm referring to just in Augusta, but because this is the city I reside in. But
Okay.
my question is, for anybody that's going to high school, my response to anyone that's going to high school, look at trade schools. There's nothing wrong with going to four-year college. I encourage you. I encourage anybody that's a school teacher or an educator to own a business if you have that mindset, because your life is structured. Every day you know you're going to go to work from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Right. Every day. And that's how I've been able to have a business since 2007, because my life was structured. The same life I had in kindergarten, right. I had that same life. So I was able to go and know that at nighttime, you know, when I started my business, I actually started as Augusta Carpenter before we started doing disaster relief and insurance claims. I was able to do those things. So I would tell anybody, the young person, to definitely go to seek trade school as well as four-year school.
Okay, okay. Barbershop Talk Live World, again, you heard what he said. I encourage you to be able to make a decision. Make the right decision. Make a good, firm decision on what you're going to do for your future. Before we get a chance to get into a more conversation with our gut friend, Douglas Jackson, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Mind if I take a commercial break?
Absolutely.
Got to pay our bills. So listen, Barbershop Talk Live World, we're going to take a quick pause for the calls. Listen, this part of the commercial, this part of our section will be brought to you by Augusta Housing and Development Center. My good friend Chandra Corley, right downtown. This part we're going to be brought to that company again. My good friend Edward Rice, Augusta Wellness and Sharing. Give us a chance. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Hello and welcome. Here at the Right Body Work and Wellness, we provide you with body work you can rely on to increase body improvement. WBW provides free consultations to better understand the reasoning for your visit. When a client experiences a WBW massage, they can expect it to be thorough and thought through. The massage is customized to each session. Muscles are handled with care, specifically and individually stretched. Creating a wellness vision to sustain a space of personal comfort, relaxation, and a state of well-being for clients that may endure. With over a dozen different modalities to fit your needs, so we can ensure a quality and well-addressed service. We provide excellent services to athletes and clients of all ages in need. If interested, call or visit the website to schedule your appointment today.
Barbershop Talk Live. We're back live here at Jay's Place Barbershop, 1927 Olive Road. Again, my good friend Edward Wright with health and wellness for your massages, muscle relaxers, and everything that you need to do to make your body a different body. Again, my good friend Edward Wright, wellness and health massage therapy right here in Augusta, Georgia. So my good friend Edward Wright, and also back with my good friend Mr. Douglas Jackson, ACC Restoration. Before we went to our commercial break, we was talking with you, Edward, about, Douglas, about the different parts of being in business, but I know you want to recap on some earlier that you said. Can we get a chance to recap what you said earlier?
So I was speaking on fraternities, sororities, and churches, and just organizations in general. What I mean, traditionally, we are pushing our kids into four-year college, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But we also have to speak on Black ownership.
Okay.
And if you look right now, and anybody can chime in. If you want to put in a box, I challenge you right now to tell me, and I'm going to talk about restaurants right now. How many Black-owned restaurants in Augusta have multiple locations?
I don't think it's many.
There's not one Black-owned restaurant in Augusta that has multiple locations. There's not. And I'm going to give some shots out. Cafe 209 is one location. Big Mama's one location. And it could be coming that they're going to have more than one location.
Maryland fried chicken.
But we've been here 400 years.
Okay.
There are 9 Maranchos.
See now, I promise I didn't pay that.
There are 9 Maranchos.
Okay. And one Maryland fried.
But Maryland Fried, I think, is a franchise.
One Cafe.
One Cafe 209, one Big Mama's, 9 Maranchos owned by, I think his last name is Perez. But my point to you is, we've been here 400 years. We make up 13% of this country.
Okay.
We make up 56% of the people in Augusta, Georgia, and we don't have one Black-owned restaurant that has multiple locations. Our sororities, our fraternities, our churches have got to change our traditional tune, because it starts with social groups.
Okay.
That's where it started. We know when I hear people saying I'm gonna denounce a fraternity, I'm gonna denounce a sorority. That's your business. But what they don't know is those same organizations are what got Martin Luther King out of jail, or what got those freedom people out of jail. So you can denounce them, but they're still about God.
Right.
But they have to, as a church, we have to change our tune. We have to start talking about business ownership. Because when we're talking about business ownership, if you look at Proverbs 13:22, it talks about a wise man leaves an inheritance behind for his children's children. And we're not doing that as a community. But that guy that's got those 9 Maranchos is.
Okay.
But we've been here 400 years.
Well, you know what? Now let me throw some at you now, Douglas. When you say that, how hard was it for you? Now, when I say how hard was it for you, I watch this question now. As you said earlier, you was a principal many years in the school system. Now you go off and open up the cleaning service. Now, how hard was it for you to tell your family members, tell your kids, your wife, whoever, that you want to open up your own business? Now, one of the things I know they probably said, well, why you need to do that? You're good. You got a secure job. You're in a good spot. You know, you got an 8 to 5, 9 to 5. So why would you want to go out and potentially not make it, or potentially do make it? So how hard was it for you to convince those persons? Because sometimes the hardest people to convince is your family, especially if something that you want to do, that you see the vision of doing it. So we want to know, in the Barbershop Talk Loud world, want to know, how hard is it to prevent or bring something to your family where they sometimes be your biggest critics?
Well, for me, unfortunately, it was easy. I came from, and I'm going to say this, I came from, my mother was a Hazel in South Carolina, and at one time the Hazels owned 500 acres of land.
Okay.
And to keep that land, and this is what my wife said, I'm crazy or not, they were actually married in the family.
Okay.
Second cousins would marry each other, and we all know they have Irish travelers that do that over, right? So we were the black side of the Irish travelers over in over in North Augusta. They married in the family. So I've always had that business inside of me. You know, one thing about it, and I'll tell anybody, when I met my wife, I actually met her mom and dad first.
Okay.
And so her mom was frying chicken 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Cause her daddy owned the club.
Okay.
And that's how I met them. I actually my fraternity had negative $500 in our account. So we looking for money, and I met him. He had just opened up the club. I said, hey, let's start this way. And I would see his wife frying chicken 2 o'clock in the morning, feeding the college students. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, my mom always say, hey, you find somebody, you look at the mother, go from there, and that's what I looked at. But then I looked at her, she was like, hey, I had 3 girlfriends. One of them, I was like, hey, can you help with this man problem? She's like, no, but I can take you to Red Lobster. The next one was like, can you help me? She said, oh, I'd have been past that. You ain't passed that test yet? And so, she was right there nurturing me, hey, helping me along the way. And so I didn't have that. When I wanted to start a business, because she came from that background, her dad owned a business, I didn't have those issues. And I came from a family that was business oriented, so we didn't have that. I didn't have any pushback from her as well. I failed at several businesses, but I just kept on going. So because you talked, so mine would be more faith and just a relentless, and that's kind of how I got to where I am right now, just faith and relentlessness.
So one thing I want to bring to Barbershop Talk Live world, because we got some people that just started watching the show, just joined on. In my opinion, there's probably 4 things that make a person successful or even their business successful. And I'm gonna throw these 4 P's out to you, and you just tell the people at Barbershop Talk Live world, and also tell them what these P's mean to you. And again, these are some of the things I consider to make a business successful in your world also, because you're doing the ACC restoration. So the first P would be the purpose. So what does a purpose mean for you to make your business successful in your world of what you're doing now?
ACC Restoration is a disaster relief company. We do water, fire, mold, disaster. We're heavily involved in the recent hurricane disaster. My purpose is to get people back in their homes. I have the hurricane disaster, people displaced in their homes, who are some live in hotels, some living with family members. So our goal is to be able to get them back in their homes. And it's a very emotional project. We run across houses that houses catch on fire. And when those houses catch on fire, those people lose so many things in their house, so many things they can't get back. So it's our job to be able to restore their home so that they can at least have a piece of their home back. So our purpose is to be able to uplift the community by restoring their homes.
Okay. Well, here's another P to make a business successful. There's another P. What's the plan?
So our plan, my short-term plan is to open up another location in another city. In the next 3 to 5 years. That's my goal. I want ACC Restoration to be one of the first, and a little bit about ACC Restoration. There's only one other minority disaster relief company in Augusta. The next minority-owned disaster relief company is that's on the other side of Charlotte. Now there are a few in Atlanta, but so my goal is for us to go into another city.
Okay. Well, here's another P that makes most business successful, and here's another P, the potential. What's the potential to make a business successful?
There's no such thing as 9 to 5. When I go to work, sometimes I don't get home till 7, 8 o'clock at night. So you don't have a time that you're supposed to be off. I'm up 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about my business. And the potential also is to make sure you have the right people in the right places. You can't hire friends. You got to hire the right people that are good for the job. Sometimes, my operation manager, we go head to head, but she's one of the best persons for that business, hands down. And so we might not even talk for 2 or 3 weeks because we debating about it. Well, I would say we talk, but we may not agree on a certain situation. But at the end of the day, we make sure that we do what's in the best interest of the business.
And that's my 4th P, people. When you
that's important.
Successful people,
yes.
Successful business, because again, you got to have the right people in your corner, in your circle. So again, the people.
The people. That is powerful. When I got into business, disaster relief, a guy by the name of Antonio of Brighter Side Roofing was definitely very instrumental in mentoring me out of Asia. He was like, hey, brother, you got a wonderful opportunity. And I was good. My brother was running my business. He's about 10 years older than me. And he was like, well, Doug, the guys don't get to work till 10:30. And I was good. I mean, I was doing 2 or 3 claims a month. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm good. It's okay. I got this, outside income coming in. I'm able to go see the customers when I get out from work and be an assistant principal. And so I was good. And so he mentored me. He was like, man, you have an opportunity to run a business that there's no one that looks like you is doing. And those are things. So you got to have the right people in your life. When I left education, it was those people around me, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my sister, my wife, all of them were like, hey, look, you can do this. Okay. You can do it. And so.
Another thing, too, to piggyback on, I don't have a mic.
Okay.
And when you were saying the guy that you say mentor you, the guy, what he was also was telling you, for what I'm hearing, is never be satisfied. Don't be satisfied with 1, 2, and 3 claims. Otherwise, he's pushing you to get more, never satisfied.
Yeah, but and so going back to purpose, it was hard to leave education.
Right.
Yeah, because and so, but when I had an opportunity, it was like you look at me leaving at 22 and my son graduating 24, who's right now writing all my estimates. Not all of them, I'm sorry, because I have 2 other people to write estimates, but writing my estimates for my company. So you look at, if I hadn't left in 22 and it's got it to where it is now, he would have been somewhere else. And so now he has that opportunity. If I fall dead today, because I'm going to die, he's right there ready to take the throne.
Okay. Barbershop Talk Live World again. I want you to continue to watch this conversation, get into this conversation. Call us at 706-426-1533. Or you got a question or a comment, put it on the screen. We'll make sure we answer any and all comments. No comment or no question is off limits now. Look, I see a comment from one of the viewers, and the comment says, "What about the youth of today?" Now here I'm gonna add part 2 to that question.
Okay.
When we talk about the youth of today, I want to also talk about the education of today. So when you was in the education world many years ago, and now you're out of that world, and now we talk about the youth of today from the question from the viewer. What is different so much now where we have the young folks getting in so much trouble, not being focused, not paying attention to them, not taking advantage of the opportunity? Is the education world so much slack now from where me and you come up to the point where it's just give me, go, not paying attention? And now we to the point where they're building more jails, more prisons, more kids shooting, and a lot of stuff going on. So what's your opinion on the youth today, not taking advantage of the opportunity that they have right before them?
You ready?
I'm ready. Barbershop Talk Live World, they ready.
Selfish adults.
Selfish adults.
Selfish adults.
Now listen. Now, when you say that, you mean to tell me the adults are not being adults no more?
So here's my response to you, and you this is Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop Talk Live.
So about 3 years ago, I was sitting in the barbershop. I was getting my hair done, and a guy was next to me, and he was talking about, and here's where I am mentally. The guy was talking about he had to pay $700 a month child support.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, $700 a month child support, and this could be a female too.
Okay.
That's nothing.
Okay.
Because to be a parent is to be unselfish. And you have to put those children first. And if you don't put those children first, then those children go out and do adult things that cause them to be in trouble. Okay. If you don't think children are receiving trauma because they don't have an adequate father or an adequate mother, and what I mean by adequate, someone who is there constantly in their lives. Because you all may not make it in a relationship. Sometimes you may not be able to be with that person because that person is a beater. But if you don't think that it's important to you to be in that child's life on a consistent basis, then you are a selfish individual. And you subject that child to being able to do things that they're doing. And a lot of times people debate me on that. They say, well, you look at LeBron James, he wasn't raised with you got to look at the math. You have to look at the percentage. The percentage of these young men and young ladies that are doing these acts are ones who don't have adequate parents in their home.
I agree with you.
So it's about that. And then you have some of them who work their hardest and their children still do some of the dumb things. But guess what? When you've done all you can, right. And that they song say, you just stand. But if you're not doing anything for that child, and that child is going down that road, then you're setting that child up for failure. And I think that's a lot of we have to slow down and we have to go back to some of our traditions in bringing in children in this world. Okay. When you look at children that come out, and I'm gonna say this word, they come out of a vagina that already has stuff for them. Will Smith, Beyonce. When we talking about just here in Augusta, when you look at African Americans who have businesses, they're setting their children up to have something. You got to be able to give your children something back. And if you're not doing anything besides complaining about child support, if you're not doing anything to help that child in life, statistically, you're hurting that child. That child doesn't have a father figure. That child doesn't have a mother figure. So that child is resentful about life.
So what do you tell the people in the Barbershop Talk Live world that's watching right now, and they want to again do what you saying do for us, leave a legacy, open up some type of business, go to trade school, but they might say I can't do it because Richmond County government ain't doing right. The commissioners ain't doing right for South Augusta. They ain't doing this for North Augusta. All this type of stuff. So do the government plays a part in some of these decisions that's going on in our world now? Where we see like we can't advance, or is it still going back to the parents?
As far as there's resources out there,
Okay.
you know, and everyone is not. There are some who are designed for management,
Okay.
but there are resources out there for individuals to achieve whatever they want to achieve, if it's for them, you know, and so you just have to have faith, and if you fail on it, you have to go again. But there are some people who don't have anything. And so sometimes when you don't have anything, you have to start at a certain point, and when you work your way up, I would not tell you know. This one guy told me I went to a job fair, and he said, "Well, when I graduate from high school, I'm gonna be a master electrician."
Okay.
I just looked at him.
Okay.
I said, "You understand the word master?
Right. Got it mastered.
That means it comes from us. Have to go work up under somebody in order to get that."
Steps toward that.
Absolutely. I did not start out where I am right now. I tell you. To be assistant principal, I started as a teacher. Right. Actually, I started out as a substitute teacher.
Okay. Okay.
I started as a substitute teacher because I was trying to pass the test to become a teacher.
Okay. Okay.
I went from a teacher to assistant principal. When I started my business, I didn't start out with a number of vehicles I have. I started out with one, okay. and I worked my way up. So for those who want something, you know, you can't allow the government to stop. You have to find other avenues.
Okay. So let me ask this question now, Douglas. There's a situation where someone is there's a situation where someone is trying to get where you are.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to be the next Douglas Jackson. They're trying to be the next John Milton. They're trying to be the next whoever to make a difference in their lives and their family lives and also the generational lives. So again, when you look at this stuff that's going on now, in other words, why the kids ain't grasping this stuff? Because again, you got it now where your kids should follow suit.
Mm.
As you say, one day when you aspire, you know, it should be an easy transition for your son, for your daughter, whoever. So what is it? As you're going back to the education part, we're not getting it. We're not teaching the kids what they should be getting taught to the point where we can have these generational wealth. We can have these franchises and all that. What is it? So it seems like it should be simple.
So America is one-dimensional when it comes to education.
Okay.
They have everyone. And what I like about Richmond County, they have a career center. I think it's called the Marion Barnes Career Center,
okay.
where it has different trade schools in there. But America as a whole has individuals designed to go from high school to college, and that is not what's realistic. Mm-hmm. We need plumbers.
Right.
Well, I know if this air conditioner cut off right now in this building,
right.
You're not gonna waste no time.
No, I'm on it.
You calling.
I'm on it.
We need so many other trades where there's so much wealth in those trades mm-hmm. that we have to stop tunneling everybody down this 4-year path that sometimes actually leads to less money than trade schools.
So what does ACC Restoration stands for? What does ACC stand for?
So actually, ACC Restoration stands for what I started with back in 2007. I started as Augusta Carpet Cleaning.
Okay.
So we changed that name, and I changed that name because when we started doing disaster relief, I wasn't going to be called Augusta Carpet Cleaning Restoration. Okay. Because when I go to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor say, "Hey, I'm finna look at your heart," you like, "No, you ain't finna look at my heart." So right. We just abbreviated that. Okay. We paid tradition to what I started. When I started with Augusta Carpet Cleaning. So we minimize those words to ACC Restoration.
Okay. So let me ask this question now. This is another question that comes from the community because again, the people want to know now, Douglas. The people want to know what does the employees and the customers get from ACC Restoration? So in other words, when the employee come work for you, and also when the customers get service from you, what are they getting from ACC Restoration? Or better yet, what are they getting from Douglas Jackson?
So first of all, my employees are golden, and I believe in retention. I believe in retention. I try my best to make sure that my staff is happy. I try my best to make sure they understand the purpose of ACC Restoration. When we go out and meet with customers, we go to homes with empathy, because we know that they didn't ask for this disaster. They didn't ask for this fire. They didn't ask for this hurricane. They didn't ask for this water damage in their house. So we automatically know we meet them with empathy already, because it's an emotional thing.
It's emotional time.
Just imagine you walk into a house and there's 300 gallons of water from your hot water heater bursting. Now your floor's got to come up. You don't want us in your house. What I tell my employees is that customers don't want us in their house. We're there because we have to be there. So in the fact that we have to be there, we have to treat their home with dignity. And so with ACC Restoration, we provide a sense of empathy. We care about our customers. We care about everything we do from the mitigation process to the rebuild process.
So now when you all come to the home, first of all, it's a different concern. You make sure the customers know that you're going to have their best interests at heart, and then also for the employees, because you don't really want anybody working for you. You got to have the right person. We're going back to those P's earlier. You got to have the right person working for this company, because when they go to the disaster areas, trees falling on the houses, as you say, water pipes busting. So it's a whole system that has to work together.
Absolutely. I cannot be a business without the staff that I have. They are phenomenal. I've had people with me that have been with me since 2013, and I've had people that some of my individuals were actually some of my students. And I tell my customers, I say, hey, listen, I say Rico didn't steal when he was 13, so he's not gonna steal now. So, and so that's one of the things I pride myself in is having employees that were actually one of my former students. Yeah. So
you really giving back.
Yeah. I have one guy that when I was assistant principal at Collins Elementary, and this guy, I met him. He was picking up his 4-year-old daughter at the time. And I said, and he had a big old afro. And I said, hey man, you got a job? So, and I would watch him every day get this young lady, put her in the backseat of his car. I mean, he opened the door for her. He treated her just like a queen, like a princess. And I would watch him at car ride duty. I said, hey man, you got a job anyway? He said, oh, he ain't working nowhere. I said, you want a job? He said, I said, you cut your hair? I said, I cut it. He been with me since then. Been with me since then. And professional, understands the direction the business needs to go.
So again, let me go back to what we said earlier when we were talking about business owners making the right decision, getting into the world. So what would you consider to be the hardest thing about business? When I say the hardest thing about business, I'm thinking about my business. My business is I'm a barber, cut hair, style it, make the person look good. So in my world, that's easy. And also for the people that's watching, sitting in the chair, waiting on the next customer to get into the chair, it looks easy to them as they see me talking and cutting it with the clippers. So to me, that's easy. But in my mind, the hardest part about the business is the books. Keeping the books together, keeping the taxes, keeping all the insurance, keeping all that stuff done. So would you consider what is be a hard part about the business again? Because you know how to rip up a floor.
Yeah.
You know how to slop up some water. But what you consider to be the hardest part about running any type of business or your business?
For me, disaster relief company. The hardest part for me is when we walk into somebody's house for water. Let's say water.
Wait a minute.
We deal with insurance companies.
Okay.
So in my line of business, it's making sure you keep the books, make sure you have an adequate revenue coming in.
Okay.
Because when we take that claim on, we won't see a check. We have to go in there. We have to take that floor. We have to do all the mitigation. We have to bring all the equipment in. Particular claim, we won't see a check for 3 to 4 weeks. Insurance company, you might not see one for 3 or 4 months to get us through.
Okay. Okay. Barbershop Talk Live World again. My good friend Douglas Jackson, ACC Restoration, letting you know that he does it all. From the big to the small, to the short to the tall. He does everything from floor restoration, even build. I know we do a little building.
Yeah. So we do.
We do a little building, maybe some roof.
We do a lot of building.
Okay, so we have the ability that does it all. Water damage, tree removal, carpet cleaning?
No, we don't remove trees. We frame houses.
Frame, okay.
We do framing. We do a small roofing. A lot of it we'll sub it out to Brighter Side Roofing.
Okay.
That we don't do, but we do small roofing jobs, and we do floors. We do sheetrock. Pretty much anything that dealing with disaster. So there are two types of restoration companies. There are those who just do the mitigation. They just come in and bring the equipment in. They come in, bring the fans in. They tear your house. I won't say tear your house up, but they do the mitigation.
Right.
And then once they're finished, they're gone.
Okay.
You know, you got to find someone else to do your flooring. You got to find somebody else to do your sheetrocking. So we're a one-stop drop when it comes to that. Once you call us, you have the option for us to do your mitigation, which is coming in, drying your house up, removing any potential mold growth, because Georgia's a high humidity area, so you will get mold. If you don't cut walls, when you have water traveling between walls, you will get mold growth.
Okay.
It's Georgia, you're gonna get it. But anyway, like I said, we do the mitigation as well as the reconstruction.
Okay. And you can be reached again. How can we reach you?
ACC Restoration is 706-306-9494.
9490.
706-306-9494. We don't have 5 stars on Google, but we do have 4.8 stars because we are a company that does make mistakes, but we also learn from them as well.
Well, 4.8 is very close.
Well, I appreciate that.
Barbershop Talk Live World again. I urge you, I ask you, I make sure, I will beg you to get in contact with my good friend Douglas Johnson. If you need any repairs done to your house, any mold removal, any clean up out the body.
Yes, that's
Biohazard.
biohazard. So we actually, sometimes we have to go up on the houses because you have sewage pipes burst up on the houses.
Okay.
And so we have to go in the houses and remove that as well. So we're biohazard certified.
Okay. Do it all.
Disaster relief company.
Now let me ask this question, and this is a crazy question, but all the jobs that you do, all the different things you do to the houses and to the property, how do you relax? What do you do to relax? What do you and your wife do just to relax and with all the stress of the job, all the ups and downs of the job? How do you just take it all off and just relax?
So weekends, during the football season, I go to my HBCU football games. I love the bands, so I'll try to do that and then about 4 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week, I try to go work out.
Okay.
So I could minimize high blood pressure pills.
Keep the weight down, keep the stress down. Okay, I understand. Barbershop Talk Live again, my good friend Douglas Jackson. You're looking for some type of person that can do your repair to your house, repair, clean up, restore, carpet cleaning also. We still doing carpet cleaning?
Yeah, we haven't stopped doing it. Yes, we still.
That's where it started from, cleaning the carpet. Get in contact with him. You can hit him on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
Absolutely.
All different ways you can get in contact with him. I urge you to do that. So Barbershop Talk Live World, as I said earlier in our conversation, you have a chance to win a gift card. You have a chance to win some prizes from Barbershop Talk Live. So listen, before we get into those giveaways that we always do every week, make sure that you're paying attention to this conversation. I got to challenge my good friend Douglas Jackson. Can I give him a challenge?
Yes.
Challenge. Here's the challenge flag, Douglas. Here's the challenge flag. You had a chance to watch Barbershop Talk Live. This is the challenge flag that you know, coming straight from the NFL, Atlanta Falcons, right up I-20. So I'm going to let you hold this challenge flag. Now, when I let you hold that challenge flag, I will give you a series of challenges.
Uh-oh.
Now, you have to do all that you can to meet and exceed those challenges.
So what I do with this now? What that?
When you hold it and you drop it,
Okay.
because if they drop the flag in football, that's when the challenge starts. They got to go and check the tape to make sure that call was correct.
Okay.
So when you drop the flag, that's when the challenges start.
Okay.
You ready to drop that flag?
I'm ready.
Drop the flag. I'm going to give you a series of challenges. Your first challenge, as you dropping that flag, your first challenge is continue to be a great, upstanding business. That's simple. Your next challenge is to continue to get the right people around you. Your next challenge is to continue to meet the purpose. Your next challenge is to continue to have a great potential. And also your last challenge is make sure you have the passion in what you do. And also when HCC Restoration comes to those person houses, make sure they get the best person on the job. Make sure they're happy when you leave the job. Make sure you put it out there. They know no matter what goes on in that house, ACC Restoration have their best interest in mind. It's a simple challenge.
It's simple.
I figured you could handle that.
I got it.
Simple challenge. So again, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Don't make it hard. Don't make it complicated. Just be ACC.
We will.
You'll be good. Barbershop Talk Live World again. He's been challenged with a series of challenges. I believe he can meet those challenges. Can you meet those challenges?
I want to tell you, thank you all for allowing us on the show.
Okay.
ACC Restoration definitely appreciates it.
Okay.
And we look forward to continued growth with you.
Well, there you go. Listen, Barbershop Talk Live World again. I thank you for tuning in to another special edition of Barbershop Talk Live World again. As they say when we always end this conversation, if you didn't have a good time, we did.
Absolutely.
Now listen, before we get out of here, I got to give you some challenges. I got to give you some challenges. I said earlier in the show, there's going to be some giveaways. There's going to be some prizes. My good friend Michael Warren down here at the Scene on Broad, he has a get-in free card. A get-in free card.
Okay.
The Scene on Broad, they also give you a Top Chef drink, which is free. So also, what I'm going to give you that to you from Michael Warren, and also a Red Lobster gift card.
Oh, man.
A $25 gift card from Red Lobster. And you know the way you get these prizes is very simple. It's so simple. All you got to do is answer some questions. If you pay attention to these questions up to this conversation, you got a chance to win this gift card and also a get-in free card and a Top Chef drink from Michael Warren, the Scene on Broad. Barbershop Talk Live is going to give you 3 simple questions. You pay attention to the conversation? Easy question. First question is always a simple question. No matter what, the first question is always simple. All I want you to do is tell me what college did he go to? You heard him when he said early in the conversation, what college did he go to? Barbershop Talk Live again. If you didn't pay attention to this conversation, shame on you. But the question is, what college did he attend? Is it HBCU? Am I correct? That's the first question. The first question is always simple. What college did he attend? The second question is very simple. Here's another simple question. If you paid attention to the conversation, the second question is, what was his first business? What was the first service he offered when he opened up the business? What was the first service? Barbershop Talk Live again. Simple question. Remember, $25 gift card from Red Lobster and also an entry-free card and a book and a Top Chef. The Scene on Broad with Michael Warren. Listen, the first question again. What college did he attend? What HBCU did he attend? And also the second question is, which service did he offer when he first opened up the business? Simple question. Be simple.
I think that's simple.
That's simple.
I think that's simple.
Now, the third question might be a little tricky. The third might just be a little tricky, but I'm going to make it so simple for you can't get it wrong. Here's a simple question that comes from me. It comes from me. What's the name of my high school?
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one.
That's going to be a trick one. If you pay attention, again, we collaborated on these high schools. I said it. Did I say it? I said it earlier. I said it. Remember, I said it. The first question again, what college did he attend? The second question is, what service did he offer when he first opened up the business? And the second question is, what's the name of my high school? If you paid attention to the conversation, come get my prizes. Come get these prizes. Come get them. Come get them. Barbershop Talk Live is always live. Listen, don't forget about June the 13th, June the 14th, Bogus Hill Landing. We're going to have a funky good time with all these artists and all these guests. Call my good friend, DJ Will, 803-215-3838. Again, that's 803-215-3838. 803 Fresh will be in the building. Get the fans ready. Boots on the ground gonna give it to you. We're looking forward to seeing you again. That's June 13th, June 14th. Barbershop Talk Live. Don't forget about my good friend Demetrius Johnson, Beverly's Body Butter, Whip, Senate Shea Butter. Also, Alan Odom, Palm Maintenance right here in Augusta, Georgia. Give him a call at 706-294-8493. We're looking forward to seeing you. Listen, to my teachers, to my educators, to my first responders, to all those people that does a lot for the community, we want to say thank you for Barbershop Talk Live. We're going to give you a shout out every time you do what we do for the community. So again, thank you for doing what you're doing. Listen, any parting words before we go, Douglas?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity. ACC Restoration wants to continue to be a vital part of this community. We want to continue uplifting. We are a disaster relief company. Again, you can reach us at 706-306-9494. We look forward to Augusta continuing to rise again. 56% of us are African American, only 8% of us own businesses. It is time for us to evolve.
I have a question.
Okay,
sorry.
we got a question from the floor. Okay,
Vince.
Okay.
Vincent, do you ever see yourself returning back in the school system?
Oh.
I would love to, but right now, I think my eyes on the direction I'm going, maybe Aiken or Macon area.
Okay.
So as of right now, I think that I won't be going back.
Okay.
We do have, sort of Vincent, he trying to answer the questions, right?
Okay, got it. Come on, answer. Give me the answer.
Albany State University
Uh-huh.
and corporate cleaning.
All right, now, okay. Well, the first question again. Now, what was the college you went to?
Albany State University.
Okay, and the second question is, what first service he offered? Is carpet cleaning. Now, look, here go the trick question now.
There we go.
Here come the trick now, Vincent. If you pay into this conversation, I need to give me the answer to the third question. What high school did I go to? Listen, I said it earlier in the conversation. If you didn't hear this conversation, you must have went to the bathroom, but we said it. My high school, what high school did I attend, Vincent? You get these questions correctly. Here's a gift card from Red Lobster, $25. And also from the Scene on Broad. This is a Top Chef drink and also an entry to the Scene on Broad on Broad Street. So if you got it right, come get these prizes, Vincent, and we'll see you at Bob Shop Talk Live.
Vincent says, for the third question.
The third question, you better get it right. You better not get it wrong, Vincent.
Laney is the best high school, so if he didn't attend it don't matter.
Oh, Lord. Vincent, what are you saying? What are you saying, Vincent? He must have came in late. He must have came in late because I said
that was his response.
That was your response. So I would give these prizes to the next guest automatically with that answer.
And he killing you though. He killing you. Vincent said, "Why is he wearing that extra small?"
Vincent, come on, man. He been working out, Vincent. Vincent, he been working out, man. That's your boy. You can't talk about your alum. But Vincent, we thank you for tuning in to Barbershop Talk Live again. I got these prizes for you, man. All you got to do, tell me what high school I went to. Tell me that this gift card belongs to you along with the card from the Scene on Broad right downtown. Listen, also don't forget about my good friend PJ Ware, Kitchen King, right on Gordon Highway. Great food, great service. I encourage you to follow what he's doing and pay attention to what he's doing. Also, support the schools.
Absolutely.
Support the schools. Barbers, support the schools. Teachers, support the school. Family members, churches, fraternities, sororities, support the schools. Again, we can't do it by ourselves. We need people to educate these folks, educate these kids. Again, let's make a difference.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't aware about the 8%.
8%.
I was not aware about the 8%. So I encourage you and especially you, let's make a difference. Let's make a difference. We got a business. Try to franchise your business. Try to expand your business. Try to promote your business. And that being said, I want you to get in contact with my good friend at mygabc.org, which is mybac.org, Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. Sign up, join. Again, if you want to open up a business, be a part of a business, grow your business, and expand your business, my good friend Ronnie West and Sherayla Hammond are right here in Augusta, Georgia. The Black Chamber of Commerce. Go to their website, mygabc.org. Looking forward to seeing you. Looking forward to be a partner with you. Again, that's Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, mygabc.org. Join. Again, Barbershop Talk Live is always live each and every Wednesday. Listen, you want to be a supporter, a sponsor of Barbershop Talk Live? You want to be a supporter of Barbershop Talk Live? We have a sponsorship package for you where we promote your business, your event, or your product. So give me a call at 706-726-2711. Again, that's 706-726-2711. Barbershop Talk Live is always live. Looking for your support, looking for your concerns, looking for your cares, and always looking for your questions on Barbershop Talk Live. You good, Douglas?
I'm good.
I enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, baby. Listen, join us next week for our special guest on Barbershop Talk Live again. It's going to be another great conversation, another great show, because the people want to know. The people want to know what's going on in Barbershop Talk Live world and what's going on in the community.
Absolutely.
So tune in. We'll see you again next week. So listen, come on, we got to get out of here. You ready?
I'm ready.
I want you to follow me now. See, come on, come on, put a little closer. Come on, put a little closer. All right, see that camera right there? You see that camera?
Yes.
All right, so follow me what I do. See you later.
All right. See you later.
Now, we're live. Yes, live from James Place. And we're talking
Barbershop Talk.
Yes, Barbershop Talk, where nothing is off limits and everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table. Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk. At James Place. Barbershop Talk. 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 At James Place. Barbershop Talk. Everything's on the table.